My name is Molly Marco. Oh, dang it. Okay, we're gonna start that over. Hi, you guys, and welcome to the Laundry Chat Podcast, a place where we help each other sort out life's laundry. My name is Molly Marco, and today we are going to talk about connecting the dots. Now, I want you to think of that thing that you would do when you were a kid, connect the dots, basically, when you would have a piece of paper and you'd be able to connect the dots with the numbers and it make a really beautiful shape, and you kind of never knew what it was going to be in the end until you connected all the dots. I used to love those. Those are so fun. And do you remember like some of those really complicated ones where some of the numbers would be harder to find than others and closer together and farther apart? Well, I was thinking about that in my own life. And your life too, of everyone's life, and how God uses those dots to connect our lives and to just like create a beautiful picture, all glorifying Him, all because of Him, but He gets to use little things in our life to make it our own unique image. So I want to first tell you a story in my life. I don't think I've shared this on the podcast. I've shared it with some people close to me, but I can't remember if I've shared it here. But a couple Sundays ago, my church was talking about tithing, and which is the most annoying topic for a church to talk about, because it's like, do you just want my money? Or, you know what I mean? Like, I don't really feel like giving you money. I don't have any money. But I think the reason, like, because it felt so annoying, obviously meant that it was something that I really... It was like hard for me to deal with. It was something that I probably should do. And a lot of you guys know that I don't make a lot of money. I do I at least right now, like, I don't really have a job. And so yeah, so it's been kind of a season of slowness and not a lot of like finances, but I just felt called that God was wanting me to give what He had to the church, and back to Him. And so that's what I did every time, and for like a month, I would give $5 more. So the very last week, I gave $20, which was like, it just felt like I should do it. You know what I mean? Like, I was like, okay. So I did that, and literally, I think it was like the same day or like the next week. I think it was on Easter. I can't remember when my roommate called me or like texted me, but she said, Molly, our lease is up in August, or in May and not August. So we thought we had the whole summer together, but it was really in May. We had to be moved out, everything had to be gone. And I was like, no, that's not true. Like, we signed a contract for August. Like, we have been planning for this. And no, sure enough, we had signed the contract, like, not even seeing the date, and that had said May instead of August. So that kind of came as a blow. I was like, oh my gosh, like, this is the end of the world. But when I connected the dot, I saw that that's like 3 months of me not having to pay rent. That saves me like $1,000, like, not to have to pay rent or utilities or even like food, like Xfinity for like Wi-Fi and stuff. Like, it was just the craziest thing. And I had only given like a very small bit of what I had, like $5 each time, or, you know what I mean, $5 increasing each time. Isn't that really that much when you compare it to the blessing that God gave me of not having to pay rent this summer and saving money that way? So that's kind of what I mean by connecting the dots. I wouldn't have connected those dots if I hadn't been purposeful in what I was doing and praying over my and praying over my finances. So I just want to encourage you guys today to not miss those dots, and to make those connections. And I think a lot of people call these dots, you know, coincidences, fate, luck, karma, and I really think that they're God dots. My grandma calls them God stops. I know people call them God things, God moments. I just like the imagery of a connect the dot piece of paper, and to connect those dots and be purposeful about looking for them. Yeah, and I think as I was thinking about this, I think the thing that connects the dots to one another is faith. And I'm sure there's other things. That was the only thing I could really think of that, at least right now, that's speaking to me is faith. because it could be just, a coincidence that, all 5 of us signed the lease not seeing the date, and it could be a coincidence, you know what I mean, or it could just be luck that happened, or just all of these things. But I think faith is what ties it back to God, and what ultimately ties you closer to Him and to trusting in Him in all of your life and what you're doing and what you don't know what you're doing and all of that stuff. So yeah, I want to read you a verse that I really liked, found in Mark. It's in Mark 11:22 through 25. And it says, Jesus was a matter of fact. And this is what Jesus said. Embrace this God life. Really embrace it. And nothing will be too much for you. This mountain, for instance. Just say, go jump in the lake. No shuffling or shilly-shallying, and it's as good as done. That's why I urge you to pray for absolutely everything, ranging from small to large, including everything as you embrace this God life, and you'll get God's everything. And when you assume the posture of prayer, remember that it's not all asking. If you have anything against someone, forgive. Only then will your Heavenly Father be inclined to also wipe away your slate clean of sins. So yeah, the part I liked all of that verse, but the part I really clung to me was, that's why I urge you to pray for absolutely everything, ranging from small to large. Include everything as you embrace this God life, and you'll get God's everything. So I think a big part of noticing the God dots and connecting the dots with faith is praying about it, and praying about things big and large, and making sure that you're asking God for those things and those things in your life, because once you pray about it, it's easier to be more purposeful in looking for them, and it'll be easier to pick them out when they do happen. And yeah, so I think prayer is a very important way to, one, find them and to point them out and to pick them out, and 2, to know that it's God, to really fully trust that, oh my gosh, God answered my prayer, and this is God in this. I think another part, in the verse that said this too, is to thank God when you do come across a God dot, and when you make the connection. It says, and when you assume the posture of prayer, remember that it's not all asking. And again, I think a lot of it is praising Him for those things. And yeah, so I think that's really important too. And yeah, another part about connecting the dots that I think is important is sharing them. When you make those connections that God has put in your life, of the dots that He's put, of the people that He's put in your life, of the opportunities He's put in your life, whatever it may be, whatever your dot may be that you've made the connection to, share that. Share it with your friends, share it on social media, tell the world what God is doing in your life and how He is sovereign and good, and that He does. We talked about this verse in Bible study last night. It was Romans 8:28, that He works everything out for the good of those who love Him, which is kind of an overused verse. You probably heard it before, but I think to show it through your life is one of the most important things that you can do, because it's one thing to hear that verse, but it's another to see it working in someone else's life. And yeah, another thing I want to bring up about the dots is that sometimes you'll be at a dot for a while, it seems like, and it feels like, God isn't answering your prayers, or God isn't there, or God isn't looking out for you. But I just want to remind you, just like the Connect the Dot coloring book page, the dots sometimes can be long. Sometimes they're far away from each other. Sometimes they're right next to each other, and because you have to go, the detail of the person's eye, or you have to do the detail of their fingers next to each other. But sometimes it's longer periods of time that you go, but it gets you farther along the picture. So if you're in a spot right now where you just don't feel like God is there and God is working in your life, I wonder if it's just your dot is farther. He has a bigger picture in mind for you, and in that, yeah, it would mess up the picture if you tried to do it too soon, or if you tried to, do it your way. So yeah, I wanted to just remind you of that. another like thing that, at least in my life, that is kind of seems like a long connection is Texas. I don't know why I'm going there. Really. I don't know who is down there. I don't know what opportunities will happen down there, but since I did pray about it all through January, and I feel like the dot of going to Texas is going, I trust that God will connect that dot. I think that's where that faith comes in. My faith is connecting even a dot that I can't see. Like that verse, I think it's found in Proverbs, 2 Corinthians 5:7. We live by faith, not by sight. And all of these things that I'm telling you, this isn't a blueprint, like physically that you can see and physically, like have evidence that like this is God. At least not, that scientists would call evidence really exactly. But I think it's enough evidence to say, I prayed for this, and you know what? God answered. And I think that I just like the verse, we live by faith, not by sight. Because that just is so, there we go. That's how we're going to live. We're not going to live by things that we see. We're not going to have a blueprint in front of us. We're not going to know 100% of the time. And that's where our faith comes in and connects those dots to each other. So yeah, Texas, whatever your Texas is, whatever your thing is in the future where you're like, I don't know why I'm doing this. I don't know why I'm at this job. I don't know why I'm with this, these roommates. I don't know why I don't have any money. I don't know, all of these things that are going on in your life. Trust that God will connect the dots. Trust that there's a beautiful picture in the end. And yes, use faith to connect those dots in your life. Because it just makes life a lot more, it gives your life so much more meaning, so much more purpose, so much more joy to know that you're working on something that God made for you and that He wants you to finish and He wants you to complete, and He has it all planned out for you. So, yeah, I know it can get really discouraging when you're not seeing those dots, when you feel like God isn't existent in your life, but keep the faith. Remember that you're not going to see it or feel it all the time. That was something that my mom had told me, that I think it was a pastor's wife who had said that. I feel like it was maybe Billy Graham's wife. But yeah, like faith, you're not always going to feel it. So yeah, okay, sorry, I'm getting really awkward because I'm in my car and people are walking by and watching me talk to myself. So we're just gonna awkwardly pause here. I'm gonna look through things. Hang on. Okay. All right, we're good now. We're good. But also, I just want to put a disclaimer. I am not an expert. I'm not a pastor. I'm not any of those things. I don't. There is probably a sermon out there way more about this topic, way more like eloquent and way more like factual based and biblically based. This is just my words and thoughts about it. So sorry if things aren't quite like aligned right or like perfectly accurate. I just want to put that out there because I don't want to come across as if these are all the answers and this is 100% what is. But yes, this is just my interpretation of it. And yeah, so just so you know that. But before I go, I just want to go over again. Remember, faith connects the dots in your life. Remember to look and listen for them, pray for them, and then thank God for them when they happen, and also share them with other people when they do too. And so yeah, I'm gonna head out, you guys. As you go about the rest of your week, please look out for God dots. Make sure that you make those connections, and that you tell us about it. If you want, you can join the Laundry Chat Facebook group, and I'd love to hear your stories about how God is connecting the dots in your life and how He is just doing great things in your life and doing the unexpected. I would love to hear those stories. So yes, join the Laundry Chat Facebook group. It's really become a place that I think will be good, and a place that I think God will help us grow together in our faith. And yes, so do that. Another thing I want to start, this is the first time I'm mentioning it, is that I want to start the Laundry Chat hashtag. So hashtag the Laundry Chat. If you don't want to post on a Facebook group and you want to do it on Instagram, either tag me in your story or use the hashtag. I'll be looking out for it. So far I'm the only one who've used it, so no worries. Yeah. So do that. But yeah, overall, I just really hope that you guys feel love and that you just go through your life and all the laundry in it, knowing that it will all be connected somehow, and that is something that you can trust even when you can't see it right away, or possibly ever, but in heaven we will. So I can't wait for that. I can't wait till we can I can't wait till next week. Let's just say I can't wait till next week. I can't wait to talk to you guys again, and I will see you very soon. Yeah, that's it. Okay, I love you guys. Bye. Oh my gosh, it is so hot. Like, this camera, I can't even like touch it because it's like literally, it's so hot, you guys. How am I gonna live in Texas? How am I gonna live in Texas? I do not know.